This week's parsha is the most important parsha in the entire Torah. You may ask, why is this week's parsha the most important in the entire Torah? Well, let me tell you. Parsha Tazria shifts from the inauguration of the Mishkan to using the Mishkan to bring purification to various people. We read about the laws of contamination from childbirth and the korbanot you bring for purification. We read about the procedure when one is afflicted with sarat on their body or on their clothing, and we learn about the process of isolation, purification, and reintegration. But none of that is why this is the most important parsha in the Torah. The reason this is the most important parsha is because it delivers some critical musar about judging and being judged. The focus of the parsha is sarat, which is generally understood to be a physical manifestation of a spiritual malady. It is often associated with lashon hara, but the exact nature of the sin that causes sarat is not clear. We do seem to get some insight into the mechanics of sarat. It seems to be contagious, requiring the one afflicted to be isolated, and one can have a mild case or more severe cases, presumably in proportion to how seriously they have sinned. But then we see something counterintuitive. Chapter 13, verse 12 and 13, we read that if the tzarat covers some of the body, most of the body, or even just about all of the body, the Kohen declares them to be impure. But if their entire body is 100% covered by the tzarat, the Kohen declares them to be pure. I'd like to offer two understandings of this verse, and in doing so, we'll get some insight into the difference in worldview of the Misnagdim and the Hasidim. The Netziv, in a classic Misnagdic approach, explains that when someone is sinning, they may need a wake-up call to snap out of their misguided ways. Being afflicted by tzarat is Hashem's way of giving musar, of bringing the issue to the attention of the one afflicted. The physical affliction being sent out of the camp, the entire process is about helping the afflicted realize their mistakes, correct them, and reintegrate into society. But if someone is so consumed by their sin that the sin has taken them over 100%, there's nothing that can get through to them, not even musar directly from Hashem. When it reaches this level, there is no longer any point in even giving them musar. It can't be effective, so you may as well rule them to be pure and leave them be. However, Rabbi Todd Berman suggests another approach, a Hasidic understanding based on one of the most famous mamirim of Rav Nachman of Breslov. He argues like this. The Talmud teaches in Sanhedrin 17a that if a capital case comes before the Sanhedrin and all the judges rule guilty, the accused is let go. The idea is that if a panel of 70 judges hears a case and not a single one can find any reason to rule in the accused's favor, there must be something wrong with the court. No one can be 100% guilty without a single drop of a redeeming quality that would allow even one judge to rule in their favor. The same applies to the case of tzarat. If the Kohen examines the one afflicted and can't find even a single spot on their entire body that they think might not be infected with tzarat, then there's something wrong with that Kohen. Perhaps they're predisposed against the one standing before them. Perhaps they bear a grudge. Perhaps they're unable to be objective. One cannot be so consumed by tzarat that there isn't even a single clean spot on their entire body. Rav Nachman explains that there's a mitzvah to judge everyone favorably. Every human being has a spark of holiness. Everyone. The person you dislike the most, they have a spark of holiness in them. Your college roommate who annoyed you your entire freshman year, they have a spark of holiness in them. Your boss who drives you crazy, they have a spark. And it's your job to find that spark in everyone you meet. And if you can't find that tiny spark of holiness in someone, if you view them as being 100% consumed with sin, well, maybe the problem is in you. Maybe you need to view that as a wake-up call, accept the musar, and improve yourself. Rav Nachman says that when you find that single spot of holiness, when you concentrate on that one spot amongst the 99.9% of them that's afflicted with tsarat, you can grow that one spot into 2 spots, and then into 4 spots, and then 8. And eventually you can drive out the tsarat one spot at a time. By finding that holy spark and focusing on it, you'll be able to judge everyone favorably, and maybe even transform them from someone with 99% tsarat and 1% holiness into someone 100% holy. The Netziv and Rav Nachman agree that tsarat is about giving musar, but the Misnagdic approach is that it's musar for the one being judged, and the Hasidic approach is that it's musar for the one doing judging. That is one reason why this is the most important parsha in the entire Torah, but the other reason is the most important piece of Torah is whatever piece of Torah you have in front of you right now. Shabbat Shalom and Am Yisroel Chai.